Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Back to what I'm gonna start calling my fireside chats, where I'm in my cozy apartment. Nice and warm. Since it's cold outside, it's important to be warm. Well, I was thinking about how YouTube has changed so much from the early days. I did not become a YouTube content maker until 2008. But of course, none of that had anything to do with transgender. I was recuperating from gastric bypass surgery, and the girl that I knew from the same doctor I went to had opened a channel on YouTube so she could talk to her friends and show her weight loss and all that. So I was just, I got excited about YouTube. And my very, very first videos that I made in 2008 was about my weight loss. And then I got kind of bored with that. That wasn't, I mean, I was losing weight, but it wasn't something I just wanted to talk about all the time. Just like that trans stuff. It's not something I want to talk about all the time. But there's times that I needed to talk about my weight loss and talk with other people that were going through the same issues I was. But eventually it did get boring. And so I started surfing around, and I became intrigued with a community of character comedians that were on YouTube back in the olden days. Starting with Zipster, if anybody knew who Zipster was. And he did a drag character called Loco Mama. And there were other comedians, all kinds of funny stuff going on. And I started doing characters, comedy characters. And I really enjoyed it. Because whatever I felt like I wanted to try to portray, I could make that character from scratch and pull some kind of personality out. And then I decided to do a one-time Granny May video, just a short video. Because I believe we had talked about Granny May in previous videos, the different characters, because I had already put together a community called Beaver's Dam, Mississippi. And each of the characters I did lived in that town. And they all interacted with one another. But it would be me dressed up as these other characters. So one night I decided I'm just going to do the Granny May one time. Because I didn't really like the idea of taking my false teeth out and doing a video. But I thought, why not? Just be a one-time thing. And I got so much response from Granny May that she became my lead character in the Beaver's Dam saga. And over years, people kept saying I needed to take Granny May on stage. I needed to take her on the road. She needed her own TV show. And I just got all worked up in it. And my friend Matt Alexander that I've been friends with for so many years, he said, because he was a Granny Mae groupie, he said, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to start doing, you know, the comedy circuit. I said, well, I have stage fright. I will not. I mean, I can do a video because I'm by myself. If I don't like it, I can delete it. But stage, there's no do-overs. It is what it is. And I had stage fright. Then a friend of mine, Jolene Sugarbaker. She's another one of those characters that started on YouTube and became so well known. Jolene Sugarbaker, the Trailer Park Queen. She does cooking shows and stuff. We love Jolene. But this was like way back. And she said, you really do need to put together a real comedy routine with your Granny Mae, because I think it would really go over. I said, Jolene, I have terrible stage fright. I just can't do that. She said, what's your address? And she sent me a book on how to do stand-up comedy. And there's chapters in there for people who have stage fright and how to get your mind to the point that you can actually do it. So, I studied that book and I studied that book. And I was starting to get my confidence up. So then, I went back and looked at all of my Granny Mae material that I'd put up on YouTube. I took the skits that got the most response from the viewers, and I wrote up a script for a set. And it was pretty good. So I did a few videos just of me doing the routine, but it wasn't on stage. To Matt and everybody said, this is great, are you ready to go? So my very, very first show was in New Orleans, Louisiana. It was a show called Gay for the Holidays. Someone had lined me up to be in that because they wanted comedians from all part of the GLBT and whatever there is today community. But this is before all that got that far. It was just the GLBT then. So they wanted me to represent the T. So I took Granny Mae. And I have to say, when I very first went on stage, I was nervous. It's a lot easier when you're doing a character, because it's not like, this is me, this is Diana. You're going to sit and laugh at Diana. But see, my characters are not me. They're not how I act. So if you're laughing at the character. And when I started getting applause and laughs, and it's like a fix. It's like a drug. The more you get, the more you want. So I became an old ham doing Granny Mae. So then I put together a Southern comedy tour. Started in Memphis, working my way through Birmingham, Atlanta. I had something lined up in Charlotte, because I have friends there, and I did stop over and visit with friends. But I had a show in Greenville, North Carolina. And I was supposed to come back and do a show in Charlotte. But then I got carried over a day in Greenville. So I had to cancel my show in Charlotte. And that's where my tour began. But I learned real quick, I mean, I wasn't as old as Granny Mae. I am now, but I wasn't. But I knew I was too old to be traveling alone with trunks to have these big plastic. They were trunks, like a Foot Locker kind of trunk. Had 2 of those that had everything that I needed. Because I also carried camera equipment and all that. And so I couldn't do it without an entourage. So I went on some other shows with Miss Matt with me several times. But when it got to where I was having to travel too much, I wasn't able. So I stopped taking gigs. And then I put out the bulletin that Granny Mae got kicked in the head by a mule. She was retired. But I had a lot of fun doing it. I love watching those videos, and sometimes I think, Lord, how did I do all that? But you see, I have bipolar disorder, and when I was manic, I could do anything. Once I got over that stage fright, but I could do anything if I was up from the mania. And I had tried through the years every medication they had at that time for bipolar disorder, starting with Prozac, lithium, Depakote, Tegretol, all of it. I took it all. And everything would work to a certain point and then stop working. And I would either just stop taking it. But then now I'm on a medication. I'm not going to give out the name for it because I think the doctors need to know what you're taking. But it has worked for the last 5 years. And it keeps me down a little bit lower than I like to be, because I sit here sometimes and I think, how did I do all those things? How did I travel this world by myself? The person I am now that's medicated thinks, there's no way I could even think about doing it. I might not even be able to get to the airport. Not by myself. Because I'm just down here, like, not out like I was when I was bouncing. Lord, I don't know if I had been medicated whether I would have ever went to Bangkok or whether I would have ever went to the Middle East to live. I don't know if I would have done any of those things. They were great. They were experiences. Other than getting married to that third husband and living over there, that was a bad experience. And I know I would have probably never married him if I had been medicated. It took me 18 years to get out of it, though. I just kind of stick with things. So medication has helped me so much that I don't do some really crazy things. I can still get up there and let people have it if they corner me. If they don't like something I do, I can come back. I can still get up there a little bit if I get excited. But I try to stay down here, where old ladies should be. Okay. We had a great day today. We went to our new booth at the Antique Mall in West Point, Mississippi. We went over there, and the booth is beautiful. And we're going again tomorrow, and hopefully fine-tune it up. And then I'm going to do a really nice video. And maybe a celebration between Miss Charlotte Jean and Miss Diana Jean. So I'll keep you all posted. I've got to get my jammers on and get to bed because tomorrow I come pretty early. It's cold outside. Okay, good night.